Czech-Taiwan, I'm Joyce coming to you from Taipei with the latest news. President Ching-te says Taiwan will step up its maritime security and stand by its Coast Guard.
我们面对区域强权的施压，当然我们海巡兄弟的压力势必是越来越大，工作也会越来越繁重。我相信全国人民都会做我们海巡兄弟的后盾。
Lai was speaking in Kaohsiung, where he unveiled a new Coast Guard ship. Named after Yunlin County, the ship will help patrol around Taiwan's main island. The Coast Guard is considered the first line of defense for Taiwan's maritime borders. Recent military exercises held by neighboring China are pushing Taiwan to invest more in law enforcement and patrol vessels to put less strain on the military. People from Taiwan and China are meeting for the annual Straits Forum, a week-long exchange that covers topics including trade and culture. It's considered the largest platform for civilian dialogue between the two sides, and this year it's being held in Xiamen in China. To learn more about what could come out of this year's forum, I spoke with Huang Kuibo, a professor of diplomacy at National Tseng University. This is the 16th Straits Forum, and so how has the purpose of this annual platform changed, especially in light of mounting Chinese pressure on Taiwan?
In the nature of it, it is one of the United Front strategies employed by the Chinese communists. But I think, we cannot say because the mainland Chinese authorities are using United Front strategies on Taiwan, so we do not engage with mainland Chinese communities. When cross-strait official relations are worsening, it's even more important for the two societies between the two sides of the strait to be able to understand each other, to be able to speak to each other, because without better people-to-people exchanges, then I think there will be no hope for the betterment of cross-strait relations.
Has Beijing's growing military intimidation of Taiwan impacted the willingness of people here to, say, attend the Straits Forum or engage with China?
Of course. When we are seeing this downside of cross-strait relations, some people in Taiwan or in the mainland would feel a little more worried about their going to the other side because the general atmosphere is not good. They may not want to visit Taiwan or visit the mainland, for example, this year, and they are going to wait and see. When the general atmosphere between the two sides becomes better, then they probably consider going to the other side for either sightseeing, doing business, or visiting family members, or studying.
And what do you think Taiwanese people can do in the face of this growing threat from China?
Taiwan needs to be more confident in dealing with all these different engagements with mainland Chinese counterparts, because Taiwan should be confident in their ways of living, in their democratic achievements, and I do not think simply because of these cross-strait exchanges or engagement, then some Taiwanese will think, oh, I would be willing to unite with mainland China. So Taiwan needs to be more confident in dealing with mainland China more proactively and more competently, of course.
That was Huang Kuibo, a diplomacy expert here in Taipei. China has just implemented new regulations that allow its Coast Guard to detain foreign nationals for trespassing in the disputed South China Sea. The regulations were announced by China last month and allow it to detain people it views as conducting illegal activity for 60 days. The move is raising concerns among Filipino fishers who work in the South China Sea. China claims the entirety of the sea, despite the United Nations ruling that those claims have no legal basis. The rules took effect just after China moved to halt a Philippine ship conducting underwater operations in the area. For more on the situation in the South China Sea and how these disputes are affecting the Philippines' ability to defend itself, our reporter Jaime Ocon spoke to Ray Powell, a security analyst at the Gordian Knot Center for National Security Innovation at Stanford University.
So, Ray, China is saying that the Philippines is conducting this illegal activity in this reef in the South China Sea. Are these claims true? What's China trying to say with this message?
I think what you're seeing is an increase in China's activity around the disputed features. There's certainly more ships than there have been in the past, and they are moving they're moving east. So they're moving closer to the Philippines. Sabina Shoal is only 75 nautical miles away from Palawan. So that the action has sort of moved in that direction. Yeah, I'd say it's an intensification of so basically China is doubling down, if you will, on its stance. And so in some of the ways you've seen that come out is in its rhetoric.
And recently, the Philippines is saying that for the upcoming U.S. RIMPAC exercises in the Pacific, it won't be sending any ships because of it's citing lack of resources. Does this have anything to do with the pressure that it's facing in the South China Sea and facing China?
Oh, I think it's 100% related to that. There's no question. The Philippines would, under normal circumstances, would love to go to RIMPAC, and I do think it's a loss that they're not going to go. But it's hard to tell your people that on one hand we've got all these issues close to home, and on the other hand we can send a ship all the way out to Hawaii. And I think, Jaime, the other thing really to keep an eye on is this. As of today, the China Coast Guard's new policy goes into effect where they're allowed to, under their policy, detain people who violate China's claimed borders for up to 60 days without a trial. And this has really got the Philippines' attention. They're very concerned about this, that some Philippine fishermen or somebody could be caught up in this, and all of a sudden they've got somebody in a detention facility at Hainan Island or something, and that puts them in almost a hostage diplomacy situation.
That was Ray Powell, a security analyst from Stanford University, speaking to our reporter, Jaime Ocon. A summit in Switzerland aims to build support for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's peace plan. Zelensky's proposals demand a full withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine and negotiation with, quote, another president of Russia. The summit aims to create a roadmap to peace in the region and to eventually bring Russia to the negotiation table. Moscow was not invited to the summit and says it is a waste of time. The Czech Republic has opened a new center in Taiwan, marking a milestone in the two countries' deepening relations. The Taipei Center is focused on forging art and cultural exchanges, and its opening was attended by VIPs from both countries. Some jazz to celebrate Czech culture in Taiwan, marking the launch of the Czech Center Taipei. It's a milestone for Taiwan and the Czech Republic's relationship in the absence of formal diplomatic ties. The center is part of an initiative partly funded by the Czech Foreign Ministry. It will focus on cultural exchanges between Taiwan and the Czech Republic, also known as Czechia. Its opening caps a week-long delegation visit led by the Vice President of the Czech Senate, Yuri Drahos, who said his meetings with Taiwan President Ching-te and other top officials proved the strength of Czech and Taiwan ties.
After coming back, I can assure my colleagues in the Senate, but most of them knows it, that Taiwan and Czech Republic are one of the best friends. Czech Republic might be a gate for Taiwan to cooperate intensively with European Union.
While in Taiwan, Drahos pushed for tech investments from suppliers of global chip giant TSMC, just as Taiwan works to set up its first overseas IC design training center in Prague. And Drahos says bilateral relations shouldn't be limited to industry, that art, music, and literature are also key to building on shared values. A message echoed by the launch's special guest, Bi-Kim Hsiao, Taiwan's vice president.
In Taiwan, there are many fans of Czech culture, as evidenced by the attendance tonight, but also by the fact that the direct flight between Taipei and Prague is not only popular, but full. Now, freedom-loving people, culture-loving people will always be standing together.
This photo exhibit, showcasing centuries of Czech photography, marks the center's first event, as it becomes the 28th branch in a global network of Czech centers and joins others in New York, Vienna, Tokyo, and Seoul. Itka Panegyurkova, who heads the centers, said they are excited to welcome Taipei as the newest member.
We really confirmed once again what Czech centers all around the world stand for. It is the free exchange of ideas and inspiration through arts and culture, really in order to underpin just the ideas of democratic and free society.
Looking ahead, the center plans to work with the annual fair Art Taipei for a show later this year commemorating Prague-born writer Franz Kafka. Leaders and art lovers here are celebrating the chance to better understand each other's cultures at such events, an important foundation for any blossoming friendship. Leon Lian, Patrick Chen, and Joyce Tseng for TaiwanPlus. The latest global passport rankings put Taiwan's passport in 69th place, one spot higher than last year. The list by VisaGuide.world ranks passports by how many countries their holders can visit visa-free. Taiwanese passport holders can visit 100 countries without a visa, but they are completely unable to enter Georgia. Singapore, Italy, and Spain topped the list, while China placed 117th. Leaky ceilings continue to plague Taiwan's main international airport. Construction errors in a waterproofing project at Taoyuan Airport have allowed heavy rains to seep into Terminal 2. The project has been attempted by 3 different construction companies in 3 months. Representatives from the airport say the situation is unacceptable, and they plan to fine the construction unit around $3,000.
持续的施工碰到强降雨，但是这个还是不允许这种情形发生。那我们会对相关的一个施工厂商、监造单位做一个深刻的一个内部的一个检讨。
Taiwan has helped bust an international online fraud ring. Fraudsters from Taiwan and Malaysia targeted Facebook users in Singapore, stealing almost $25 million. Almost 2,000 people were caught up in the scam, which used fake ads to trick users into downloading apps containing viruses. The virus allowed scammers to access the victim's phone and remotely transfer funds from their banking apps. 6 people have been arrested in Taiwan and Malaysia. The first British citizen to receive disability benefits in Taiwan has died. Michael Boyden was a business consultant who gained attention for his fight to receive disability benefits from the Taiwanese government. He had lived in Taiwan since 1989 and was diagnosed with atypical Parkinsonism in 2019. In the last 2 years of his life, he lost the ability to move and communicate. He gained disability benefits early this year. His wife, Katie He, says he died on Saturday morning and fought a good fight and is suffering no more. A community in northern Taiwan is gathering around a century-old tree. John Van Trieste has this story.
In this corner of rural Miaoli County's Sanyi Township, people don't need to gather in community centers. A tree that stood here for 100 years serves that purpose. Lai Shiteng is part of a local society that puts together events at the tree's base.
能够给长辈回忆他们年轻时候辛苦奋斗的那个过程以外，也能让我们的小朋友来这边能够做一些其他的实用教育的体验活动，或者是一些书籍阅读的那个场所。
It's not just the tree the community cares for. The surrounding lotus ponds, too, are rich with endangered wildlife that's protected here.
左手边的这个香水莲呢，是我们在做史尼士小巴的一个复育的工作。外国人在我们苗栗山艺发现的物种，所以说它命名叫史尼士小巴。那我们因为人为的过度开发，史尼士小巴物种已经濒临灭绝啊。
There are events for children, musical gatherings, and painting workshops, too. The oil paintings feature some very familiar elements as motifs. They're hung up with pride not far away.
史尼士小巴复育的油画像，很多人都不相信呢。你这怎么有可能第一次画可以画出这些作品出来？事实上就是第一次画。
In Sanyi, when it's time to gather, everyone knows the place to go. Devin Tsai and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. I'm Joyce Tseng. Take care and see you next time.